What's up, Capstone family? This is Ed Drummond coming at you on this Friday, the 6th of August. I hope you're doing well out there. If you are here in Phoenix, you know that the weeds are upon us. All that rain that we got a few weeks ago means that weeds are everywhere. And shoot, even on my personal residence, I can't even get my landscaper out fast enough to take care of these things. And every day when I get home, there's more of them. It's like insane. These things grow probably at a foot a day, it seems like. It's embarrassing. But to that point, if you've got a rental property here in town, be aware that it is time to get the landscapers out there. And, this is the stage where we start getting those HOA notices if it's in an HOA, or, we're going to be putting out that feedback and let you know. Time to get out there and get those weeds if you are responsible for that on your contract. Cool. So this week I wanted to bring things up. Sorry for not being on the call last week. This is one of those, took one little vacation with the family, went out to California for the weekend, and unfortunately wasn't able to get to the video, but a lot has happened since then. So just to let you know where we're at, with the Capstone business, we do, of course, sales, and we do the management. And each one of them is very strong. The sales side, we're recognized in the top 1% of realtors in the Valley, which is amazing. On the management side, we have a little bit of a unique management model that really puts us at the top tier of management here in the Valley, because relationships and communication are so important to us. Somewhat sets us apart. Hey, we'll take it. We love it. That being said, on the sales side, we're in a unique position to where we sell more than, on average, a house a week. So because we're selling more than a house a week, we're really able to gauge what's happening in this market right now. And since I've been back in town, since Monday, I've had 3 conversations with 3 different people about the market turning down, of what people are seeing and how that affects us. So let's talk through that really fast. A week before today, we had 3 new houses on the market. Those 3 houses were all valued under $500,000. Through the weekend, we got offers on all of them, as we would have expected. However, one thing we did not expect was the shortage of offers that we received. All of those properties, arguably I overpriced, which those of you that have sold houses this year, I'm overpricing everything because that's the way that the market's been. And now we're seeing that instead of me getting 20 offers per property, we got 5. Or on one of them, we only got 3. And instead of going grossly over, sometimes they were just over. So that's something that we're definitely seeing. And, keep in mind that there's a seasonality to this market that we haven't talked about. It's unspoken because last year was so weird. Right? Last year, we didn't talk about the August slowdown that runs into September through the rest of the year, where things just start to slide down. So, a couple of things that I wanted to do for you this week. I added 2 new charts to our Phoenix MLS Metro market data on our website at soldonphoenix.com. The link's in this video down below. Also, if you got the email, it's in the video. It's in the email itself. The 2 new that I added, which I think are super important to be paying attention to right now, one of them is days of inventory, okay? And these 3 people that I spoke to this week, arguably, they wanted to argue with me that the market was changing. They wanted to convince me that, the pricing should be, different, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, what they're hearing on the news is true. There is a uptick in the market. However, using all of the data that we have on our website, we've got to really evaluate it and see, hey, what really makes sense? I mean, I could come up with a narrative for each one of these in a particular way to put a spin on it to make it sound, this or that. However, where it's important, even though we're at the super shortage still of housing, buyers now are hearing that the market's changing. So they're not necessarily going to be rushing out as much, thinking that they need to come over asking like they were, which is so wild. The numbers, yes, you'll see now days of inventory is one of these new charts that I have on there, which I love because I love seeing, hey, how many days of inventory do we really have? Check that one out. You're going to be amazed at the trough that we had here at the beginning of this year. Arguably the lowest part of the market that we've ever seen. The best sellers market we've ever seen was like March of this year. It was insanity, and it's still pretty insane. However, that was the market where everything was just out of control. Now, the next that we added was the number of price changes per week. And why that's important is we want to see how many of these people that were overpricing properties are now having to change those prices to match what people are going to be paying for. The upswing here over the last few, arguably the last few weeks, the last months, has been this huge change of people now changing their pricing, realizing that they were overpriced. They need to reduce that pricing to come back. Looking at the other charts, though, you'll see that people are still going over asking at different price points in different ways. You've got the $250,000 to basically $400,000 price points where 65% of those offers that are closed are still, going over asking. However, we've got to look at the trailing time for those. If it's closing now, they were under contract 30 to 45 days ago. So, that was maybe a 30-day ago market. Now we've got to see that on this upswing, this may be more of an opportunity for buyers to get in and not have to go too far over asking or to come in right where we are if we're overpriced. So just keep that in mind. I think, we have been getting fewer offers, not anything in this stage to worry about because of all of the other metrics. And when people bring that information and say, hey, check out the market shifting, they're right. They totally are. However, it's like, how is the market really shifting? Are we anywhere close to being in a different type of market? The answer there is absolutely not. There's still a huge shortage of housing. In addition, what we're seeing is we've got our rental market is still on this trajectory that's almost exponential growth. It is ridiculous. So if you do have a rental, where we're seeing, the market changing a lot is when you've got a renewal, there's a high probability that your rent is going to go up, and it's going to go up a lot. So we got to make sure that, we're having those conversations. We're doing that early on with the tenants. There have been a couple situations where the team has handled it so exceptionally well. It all comes from their communication and making sure that we're getting the tenant in the right frame of mind to understand what the expectations are when they get a price increase, right? What are their options? What can they do? These are things that we want to try to convey to them so that it keeps everybody above board. So everybody knows that we're having the same conversations with everybody. Communication in this market is so important because, as you all are aware, those that are frustrated with our service are those who, unfortunately, their rents have gone up, and there's not much we can do about that, right? We're not in the business at the end of the day to keep the prices where they are. If the market's going up, we've got to move with the market. If you'd like to have more conversations about that, please hit me up. I struggle with this myself as well. I've got a tenant that's been in a property for more than a decade, and I rarely do price adjustments because at the end of the day, I've got to look at, hey, how much is it going to cost me to reinvest and put a bunch of money into this and the time and the whatever and putting another tenant. But right now, it's like that's the market, and these tenants, they understand that this is what it is. Like, it's not something new to them. Now they know that, hey, this is that market. So definitely, if you would like to have those conversations, tee it up. I'd love to schedule a time with you so we can make that happen. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day. Remember, Capstone's all about communication. I hope that you feel that same way. If you don't, I would love to hear why, because those are the things that we can change to make our service even better. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.